Could the Bulls be adding another NBA free agent to fill in that final roster spot? I think they have a need at the center position. So starting off today's show, I'm going to be naming 3 free agent centers that I think the Bulls could bring in. And then on the second half of today's show, Bleacher Report caught a dub for the first time in a while as they named our very own Alex Caruso as the most underrated player in the NBA. We'll be diving into their thoughts, and I'll be giving you some of my own on Bleacher Report's thoughts on Mr. AC. My name is Patrick Siepman. Welcome into the Bulls Report. But before we dive into today's show, we got a little battle. Listen, I'm a competitive guy, and we are all competitive here at Chat Sports. And our Celtics Today channel, they challenged us. And the challenge being a race to 100 subscribers. So if you guys haven't already locked this in, hit that subscribe button. It really goes a long way here at Chat Sports. You're just going to become a more informed Chicago Bulls fan. So hit that subscribe button, lock us in, and let's jump into today's show. We're taking a look at the Bulls roster as an overview right now. Obviously, I do think there is a need at that front court position. You do have 2 centers in Nikola Vucević and Andre Drummond, but there is a need still in that front court. With the Bulls really having no true 4 spot in this lineup. We're going to probably run Patrick Williams will probably be the starting 4 heading into this year. And then you have a guy like Torrey Craig off the bench as well. But those guys are a little undersized to be playing that 4 spot in the NBA nowadays. And especially Patrick Williams. I think he's a tremendous defender. But we did see him get bullied multiple occasions when he did have to kind of guard in that low post area last season. So I got 3 centers that I think the Bulls could bring in and kind of adds a sense of physicality to that front court. And the number 1 name I have, Mr. Bismack Biyombo. It's funny, dating back to the NBA playoffs a couple of years ago, Bismack was a 20-20 guy for the Toronto Raptors, but we have seen his play kind of hit the wall over the past 4 seasons. He's obviously not the stat sheet stuffer as he was during those playoff runs with Toronto when legitimately he had multiple 20-20 games. But over the past 4 seasons, he's just the embodiment of consistency. What you're getting from Bismack every single time he hits the floor. He's going to give you solid efficiency, shooting over 54% over the last 4 seasons. Then he's also going to have a solid points per game output, sitting around 5 a night. But it has declined over the past 4 seasons, and we have seen his athletic ability kind of take a step back. But why Biyombo makes sense, he still has decent athleticism at that 5 spot. I think he can still run the floor really well. He can be a tremendous rim runner, and if he has a guard or wing on him, he can put his behind on him and bury him under the basket. And he is an effective defender. He's actually underrated when switching on the guards. He's not as slow laterally as you may think, and I do think he has potential to kind of keep on improving that game. And he's also a lob threat. Anytime he's coming off a pick and roll, you can just throw it over the top to him, and he can have a big-time slam for the Chicago Bulls this upcoming season. So Bismack, I think he makes a lot of sense for the Bulls, and I do think he would be a solid backup option. I think he could kind of split minutes maybe as the backup center with an Andre Drummond, because they would give a sort of a yin and a yang kind of a relationship they would have, because obviously Drummond, he's more offensive focused. He's more focused on the boards, where I think Bismack offers a change of speed, where he's more focused on the defense. He's more focused on the lob threat type of scoring. So Bismack, he's number 1 on my list as a center I think the Bulls could bring in. Number 2 on my list is actually a Chicago kid, Frank Kaminsky. He went to Bennett High School in Chicago, so if you know, you know. But this guy was an absolute dog at Wisconsin back in his college days. The thing I love about Kaminsky, he struggled his first 2 years in college, and then he hit the jet stream and he took off during his junior and senior season. But we haven't seen that game translate to the NBA as well as I would have thought. Over the past 4 seasons, the efficiency, as terms of shooting from downtown last year, very limited reps. He only played in 36 games, and he really hasn't been getting a lot of minutes the past couple of years. But the efficiency there, he is a big man that can stretch out, knock down the 3 ball, offers really solid size. But the thing is with him, he's a terrible defender. He doesn't move laterally well at all, and we all kind of knew coming out of college he would struggle with that, and it really came into fruition when he came in the NBA. But I do think he could be a solid 3rd-string center for the Bulls this year. Obviously, Vuce and Drummond, they're going to get majority of the tick, but why not bring in a big body that can be that pick and pop threat? Maybe he'll add another, like I said before, a little yin to the yang with Andre Drummond, where he'll be the catch and shoot guy coming off a pick and pop. But I think it would just allow the Bulls to kind of give the other team multiple different looks, or instead you're not consistently just having the role threat that Vooch and Drummond would be. So I wouldn't mind bringing in Kaminsky. He is a terrible defender as he sits right now in the NBA. But number third is an option I like a lot, and it is Wenyen Gabriel right now, the free agent center. I love Wenyen Gabriel, and in terms of his defensive versatility, he is a little undersized at 6'9" for a center, but I do think he could offer the Bulls multiple different looks. And by no means are you bringing in Wenyen Gabriel and saying this is the guy that's going to, improve our scoring output on offense, because really he hasn't done that over his NBA career. He's always sat around 5 points a night, and the efficiency for him at the center spot, you would like it to be higher, but this past season, you see the uptick. He got up to nearly 60% after sitting in the 40s the 3 years before that. Has been in and out of the lineup for the Lakers, hasn't really cemented himself as a true kind of role in the NBA yet. Like I said, yes, he is a little short at 6'9", but I do think this would allow the Bulls to run multiple different looks. He's super quick and he's a super versatile defender. Like, we know what we have with Nikola Vucević and what he brings. He's a poor defender at that spot. He can't really move his feet laterally too well. When he gets switched on the guards, they just kind of get him on an island and they pick on him a majority of the time. But could you imagine if the Bulls wanted to run out a Javon Carter, Ayo Dosunmu, Alex Caruso, then maybe a LaVine, and then maybe Wenyen Gabriel? You would be very small, but you would be extremely athletic and extremely versatile defensively. Like, having Wenyen at your center spot, I think the number one thing he brings is when it is a pick-and-roll situation, he can switch on to the guard. And if you're Billy Donovan, you're saying, I would take my chances with Wenyen guarding these other teams' guards. I think he's an underrated defender, and he would probably be second to Bismack Biyombo, for me personally, on a guy that I would bring in. But I gave you 3 free agent centers that I think the Bulls could possibly sign. You only need to give me 1. Who do you want the Bulls to sign with their final roster spot with the remaining time left here in NBA free agency? This is going to be the pinned comment on today's video, so if YouTube throws an ad break your way, sit back, let it play, and answer today's pinned comment. We also got a great deal going on right now, and if you head to chatsports.com/Bulls combo, you can get these 2 beautiful t-shirts for $20 off. Normally they're sitting around $49.99, but if you use our link, you can get them down to $29.99 and get these 2 sweet Bulls t-shirts. I'll make sure to put that link in the comment section and the description of today's video. That's chatsports.com/Bulls combo. That was BR, Bleacher Report, showing love to our main man, Alex Caruso. It's funny, I did a video on Caruso a couple days ago just explaining his defensive prowess in the NBA, and Bleacher Report kind of hopped on the bandwagon as they named Alex Caruso as the most underrated player in the NBA. Let's see what they had to say. So BR, they mentioned Caruso by saying this. They said, consider the mystery of last year's Chicago Bulls, who somehow finished with the 5th or the number 5 defense despite starting notable sieves Nikola Vucević, DeMar DeRozan, and Zach LaVine. The Bulls managed that feat largely because they held opponents to 106.5 points per 100 possessions when Caruso was on the floor, and when he sat, that number leaped to 112.5. With steal rates in or above the 90th percentile 5 years running, and even a 98th percentile block rate last year, and the most deflections per 36 minutes in the league among players with at least 1,000 minutes played, Caruso causes more trouble than most defenders at any position. Lastly, he finished first in the entire NBA in defensive estimated plus minus in 2023, and yet, if quizzed on the league's best defenders, most fans would list 10 or 15 names before getting to Caruso. Then I will say this, Bleacher Report, a rare W from you guys. Normally you guys put out these trade ideas for any NBA team, and they're mostly always garbage. But I thought this was a great take by them, showing love to a guy who doesn't get it nearly as much as he deserves. I've been saying this. I think Alex Caruso is one of the most underrated guard defenders in the NBA, and I think it comes down to him or Drew Holiday as the best guard defender in the league right now. But I could also make an argument that he is just the overall best defender in the league. Obviously, you would like a more prototypical 6'8", 6'9" wing, like a Kawhi Leonard, Paul George type of archetype. But I think in terms of Caruso, like what you're getting bang for your buck wise, I could make an argument he is the best pound-for-pound defender that we have in the NBA. And something interesting, when the Bulls obviously added Patrick Beverley in the later half of last season, I think it gave Caruso a running mate for this Bulls point-of-attack defense, and he led the NBA with a 110.3 defensive rating from January 1st to the end of the season. I think Caruso, you guys know I'm a big fan of him, one of the more underrated guys in the league, and I'm just happy that he is a Chicago Bull. So Bleacher Report, shout out to you for showing love. As always, guys, you can give me a follow on Twitter at Pat Siepman. If you just want more Bulls feed or Bulls content on your Twitter feed, hit me up on Twitter. Give me a follow at Pat Siepman. See you guys next time. Go Bulls.